Hey, it's Luke. I finally got a chance to try out the Push 3 the other day. It's not this one here. This is still my older Push 1. And I noticed a few things. First of all, the MPE is really nice. The thing is, it'll take a little bit longer than I thought to get the hang of it, going through on the different pads or whatever to sort of get the feel of it, but there's so much potential there. Something else I noticed is going from Push 1 to Push 3 is a bigger change than I thought. I was playing with the sound on the standalone version, and at some point it just stopped. I don't know what I did, and I just kept trying a whole bunch of stuff to start to get sound again, and yeah, I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. I still don't know. The only way to clear it was to just start over with the new live set, and then all of a sudden the sound was back. So you can do everything on Push 3 that you could on Push 1, but it does things a little bit differently. So it can take a little while to get used to it if you're used to an older Push. So there are a bunch of things that stand out from the Push 3, and one of them, surprisingly, is drum rack with the drum pads. I didn't realize that the MPE was built in so closely in there. I thought it was just for synths and plugins with musical notes, and that's where it would shine. But there are drum kits made for MPE, and they're really cool. You can find them by searching MPE in the name, or the Ableton website has a long list of a whole bunch of presets and instruments that are MPE enabled. But the thing with the drum kit, I think it was the analog one, is these are just tiny pads, but wherever you press, it'll sound different. Not just the velocity that you usually have if you hit them harder, but if you're hitting the bottom of the pad, it'll sound different than the top, and as you move around on the pad, you'll get these different sounds. But where that's really interesting is, it used to be if you wanted an open hi-hat and a closed hi-hat, you had to get two sounds that sounded very, very similar and then go between the two pads. But on this one, you can have them on the same pad. So as you're moving to different parts, that hi-hat is opening up, and you're able to get different sounds it's just more cohesive. So it's definitely something interesting to have in there, and it just sounds amazing. Something else I really liked is that you can launch clips from the screen at the top. The way it was on the older ones is you could launch your clips and your scenes down here. So the clips from the pads, and then these buttons here to launch each scene. But on the Push 3, you can actually launch them from up in the window, and there's a jog wheel that's amazing. I love having that on there. And you can go through the jog wheel, and you can be dealing with your clips and scenes from up here or down here. You can still do the old way. But the interesting thing about doing it up on the screen is you can actually use your pads to be playing notes while you're dealing with the clips on top. So you can actually be doing a whole bunch of different stuff at the same time. And especially if you're doing a live performance or whatever, it can be really useful to be working on your clips separately from the notes that you're playing. One thing I was surprised about is how much you can do with your MIDI notes right in the standalone version. So you basically have a piano roll built into it, and you're able to take your notes, adjust the velocity, move some notes over, and you're able to see all of your notes all on the same screen. And it's really nice to be able to work with your MIDI notes in detail right on the screen. I forgot to try this when I had the Push 3 in front of me, but the tuner that's built into Ableton, you can actually see it right on the screen. So you can plug an instrument into it, your guitar, whatever, and just tune it directly from the Push without ever looking at your screen. It's something minor. You probably have a tuner already, but it is really nice to have that built in, especially if you're using some sort of analog gear and you're trying to get some information about one of the notes that's in there. You're able to deal with it right in the Ableton Push. So that's a really nice feature to have. So overall, I love the Push 3. I'm sure I'm going to be getting it one day. And yeah, it was just really interesting to finally get my hands on it and see what all the hype is about. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.